Teacherpreneur, Season 10, Episode 8. Hello and welcome to Teacherpreneur, the mini podcast for busy teachers. My name is Laura and joining me today to talk about becoming a teacherpreneur is my guest, Shélynn Riel. In today's episode, we're going to talk about this trending term, what exactly does it mean and what can it look like? So let's join the conversation where I asked Shay to share, what does teacherpreneur mean to her?
A teacher who is using their skills to start and run their own business is considered a teacherpreneur. Now, Laura, we know edupreneurs have existed for a very long time, right? Taking on many different forms, whether they are side gigging, I like to say side questing as teachers, working in materials development, doing consulting work, editing services. For example, I am an international traveling educator, working with universities all over the world. But my primary goal and gig when I'm in the States is as a teacher trainer and a webinar facilitator for Bridge. I also write, I also consult, and I have a podcast about reflective pedagogy. So all of my work centers around developing language learners and language teachers, but no 2 days look the same for me. And I like it that way. That's one of the biggest perks, I think, of being an edupreneur or a teacherpreneur. So teacherpreneurs might wear many hats as well, but I think their primary hat is that they are teaching, they're working with learners.
When you started this journey, I think a lot of listeners will be keen to hear this. What skills did you find that you already had in your repertoire as an educator that really helped you transition to this new role and navigate this new kind of challenging space?
I think that teachers are superhuman. So we have so many skills that really are easily transferable, but I'll highlight a couple. So I think communication skills, we sell our students on the content that we're teaching them. We also sell ourselves in, marketing and networking. So this sort of clear communication can really be helpful in creating compelling course descriptions and creating engaging marketing content, delivering lessons if you are still teaching. I think organizational skills is one of the most important things that a teacherpreneur or an edupreneur can possess. We wear a lot of hats as a business owner or even just, as a freelance teacher. You have to manage a lot of different tasks and responsibilities. So I think teachers have that. They've managed classrooms, they've managed schedules, social emotional needs of their learners. So I think that is a very easy transfer. Another really large one would be the flexibility that teachers have. We are used to sort of acting ad hoc, really recognizing what our students' needs are and then pivoting when we notice that something's not working or they need a bit more. And I think that treating your growing business as you might treat a student in your class is sort of a good way to approach it, right? What are the needs of this business and how can I be flexible based on, the needs of the market and the needs of any sort of business task that I'm working on. And then, of course, creative problem solving. Teachers are problem solvers. Business owners need to constantly approach, anything that comes up in the day-to-day, and they need to be creative in their approach. And then the last highlight, Laura, because I could go on and on, is really just empathy and patience. Teachers are patient beings with their students. And I hope that teachers who are looking to begin this teacherpreneur journey can hold that same patience for themselves, because it's not always easy. There are challenges along the way, but I think that is something that we possess that can be really useful in this.
I do wonder, because teacherpreneurship is so varied. There's no one size that fits all. And you even mentioned your own journey of how that's kind of come about organically.
That's the beauty, Laura, is it really gets to look like anything that teachers want it to look like. They have the agency to decide for themselves. So at Bridge, we first encourage teachers who are thinking of beginning this teacherpreneurship journey to ask themselves about their why, right? So what is it that is driving them towards this path? What is it that's making them consider this as a viable option for themselves? Is it, that they have a partner and children and they need a flexible work schedule? They want to be present for, the chorus concerts and the athletics for their children. Do they have an interest in generating more income? Do they have maybe a desire to work within a very niche area of English language teaching that maybe isn't a normal or a regular offering by language schools in their area? Do they want to work with a very specific student population? So all of these questions are worthwhile in deciding sort of what path they want to go down. So teacherpreneurism can look like anything, but there are sort of, at Bridge, we've outlined sort of a path to independence. We have sort of three, let's call them avenues for really embracing this teacherpreneur mindset. So the first is working as an online language company freelancer. And so I'm using very specific language here because I think within ELT, we're just so full of, we've got acronyms and we use words interchangeably. So an online language company freelancer is essentially, so some examples would be Bridge English, which offers corporate language training for individuals across the world. We have, EF Teach Online, there's Lingoda. So all of these are a great starting point for teachers who are new or new to online teaching or considering, independent online teaching as an option for them. Students range from children to adults. The courses might be one-on-one, they might be small group, but essentially these language companies handle all of the business side of things. So they handle payment transactions, they provide the course curriculum. Often they will give their teachers access to continuous professional development or CPD. And so, of course, there are a lot of pros there, right? There's no lesson planning. You don't have to market yourself. You don't have to recruit your students. It's fairly easy to start. There's low pressure. And everything on the business end is handled by the language company. But there are, of course, some cons there, right? You don't have the autonomy that maybe you want. This is really great for beginners because you get that sort of structured environment, but you don't have to worry about, sort of the nitty-gritty of business operations. Often you get to see what a well-oiled machine looks like, both from, the user experience and also the teacher experience. Because if you are thinking about starting your own online language school or, hiring people, scaling in the future, you want to have an idea of what the teacher experience is like, as well as the user experience there. That really is the sort of easiest point of entry for someone looking to work independently teaching online, is the online language company freelancer. The next sort of step along this pathway is as a marketplace tutor. And so at Bridge, we consider this sort of the sweet spot between freelancing and being a fully independent teacherpreneur. So marketplaces, some examples might be Preply, Verbling, Cambly. I know that I use, but marketplaces provide technical support. They do all of your payment transactions, but the difference is that you're setting your own rate and you are developing your own courses. So you create, as a marketplace tutor, you create a profile that showcases your services, and you are then in the game sort of trying to attract students. So there is more autonomy there. You're setting your own rates, your own schedule. You're deciding what to teach. What's nice about a marketplace is that this platform means that you're already working with a pool of what we call bottom of the funnel leads. And that means that they're qualified leads. These are students who are already interested. They're already in the system. They are ready to settle in with a teacher and learn the language. So that is really great for someone who doesn't want to go out and recruit their own students. They have this great pool of possible students waiting for them on these marketplaces. Of course, there's sort of the other side is that, the platform takes a percentage of whatever you earn. And there is a lot of competition with other teachers, just thousands of teachers on these marketplaces for any given language. There is an algorithm that you have to learn to sort of work with on these marketplaces so that you are differentiating yourself from the beginning. And it can be kind of hard to break through with these algorithms And that's why the Bridge Teacherpreneur Academy this is one of the topics that we look at in supporting teachers on their teacherpreneur journey. How is it that you differentiate yourself from the rest of the teachers on these marketplaces and get students for the rates that you think are fair for you?
What's the third option you said? Like there's like the next and like maybe kind of more intensive level.
Yeah. And so I think intensive is a great way to put it. So we have to recognize that not all teachers who are looking to become teacherpreneurs want to be a fully independent teacherpreneur full time. And so we sort of consider these pathways to becoming a teacherpreneur, but we know that there are a lot of different considerations that teachers have as they're entering this space. So an independent teacherpreneur is someone who sets up a website or subscribes to an e-learning platform on which they're hosting their courses. And this is essentially you have dived into the pool of teacherpreneurism. You are on your own. You need to, activate your floating devices, right? All of the things that you've learned over the years. It means that you are developing your own brand. You are doing your marketing. You're using social media. You're developing your courses. You're doing all of the business things. So you're handling client interactions. You're doing accounting, taxes. You have all of that you're thinking about. And of course, the perk is that you are in full control of your business, of your instructional methodology. You're setting your own rates, your flexibility. You get to choose your target audience, your niche, right? There's just full flexibility there. And I think that's really alluring. But you also have, responsibility for all of those things that I've mentioned. There is a possible lack of stability in this. A lot of people do mix and match. So, many people will combine sort of these three options to meet their unique needs. Maybe they really like working with a language school because they appreciate having a developed curriculum and having all of the support and a network of colleagues and CPD. But maybe they also are sort of experimenting with a new niche, and that's something that they get to do on the marketplace. They're finding their clients there. So I think that there is a lot of opportunity to sort of not even transition through the three paths if that's not what you want to do, but sort of pull the best from each of these opportunities.
I wonder, as a parting gift, is there anything else you'd like to add that could really help to support listeners of this podcast to go on this teacherpreneur journey?
Bridge has been around for 35 years. So we have long recognized this trend in independent teaching. And so back before 2020, we actually came out with the first iteration of what we call the Teacherpreneur Academy. We saw that teachers were taking a lot of different paths to independent online teaching, and we wanted to take advantage of the post-COVID investment in edtech and more teachers getting online. So we recently updated the Teacherpreneur Academy to be more robust and really focus in on the areas that teachers struggle with as they're transitioning from classroom teacher to teacherpreneur. With Bridge's Teacherpreneur Academy, participants have 12-month access to a self-paced course, and each module is designed to really support participants in their path to teacherpreneurship, whatever that may look like. They have access to multiple workshops and networking sessions each month, and they have a chance to work with a supportive coach who has been there and colleagues who are trying to do the same or similar things as they are. And they get to receive feedback along the way. And really, our goal at Bridge is to give teachers a practical roadmap to being an independent teacherpreneur. We're giving them foundations on how to create a business plan, strategy, product design, recruiting students, whatever it is, whatever those topics are that teachers are really nervous to approach. And we know that there are several. Our goal is really to say, yes, teachers, you can do it. There has never been a better time for you to become a teacherpreneur. And this is true for teachers for wherever they are in their teacherpreneur journey.
It's been a delight talking to you today, Shay. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Laura.
So to find out more about Bridge's Teacherpreneur Academy and all that Shay has mentioned in this episode, all those links are in the show notes so you can find those easily. If you've got a question or an idea that you'd like to pitch to the podcast, then you can go to the website teacherpreneur.com. Finally, you can support the work we do here at Teacherpreneur by sharing the episode with your teaching community, by leaving a rating review wherever you listen to the podcast, or by even buying us a coffee by going to ko-fi.com/Teacherpreneur.